So, we are going to talk about the latest coffee research. This research was last updated on 5th of August 2025, and it's on coffee's impact on health and well being. Coffee is life for me, like many of you out there, and I don't want to feel guilty about my morning coffee. So, I researched a bit about what it actually does to my mind and body, and here are some shocking facts from latest research we found about coffee. And if you are a coffee lover too, you are gonna love this as well. Scientists have been studying coffee for decades, and when you pull together all the research in PubMed, which is the most trusted comprehensive biomedical database, you start to see a clear picture. And here is the surprising part. According to this, they claim that your coffee can apparently prevent heart diseases, diabetes, stroke, and cognitive decline. Now, this doesn't sound true to me, but this is very well sourced. So, let's break it down with facts to understand it better. So, before we dive into research, let's take a look at numbers of North America's leading killers. Heart diseases claims over 680,000 lives annually. Cancer, over 613,000. Stroke, over 162,000. And diabetes, nearly 95,000. Studies consistently shown that moderate coffee consumption is associated with lower risk of cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and stroke. But wait, before you celebrate with your favorite mocha frappuccino, many of you will be disappointed at this point because apparently this research also says that adding sugar, cream, and any other add-ins can decrease benefits. All the benefits we are talking about in this research comes from the black coffee, not the fancy ones. Now, let's talk about the research. Here is the bottom line from numerous large scale prospective cohort studies conducted around the world. Moderate coffee intake is more beneficial than harmful across a wide range of health outcomes. This isn't just one study. This is the consensus from decades of research involving millions of participants. This research suggests coffee may be protective against several types of cancer, including liver and uterine cancers. This is especially significant given that chronic liver diseases and cirrhosis claims over 52,000 North American lives each year. But it doesn't stop there. Coffee consumption is also associated with better respiratory outcomes, slower cognitive decline, and potentially reduced risk of Alzheimer's diseases, which affects over 114,000 North Americans' lives each year. Okay, at this point, a big question comes up. These are huge claims. So, how does coffee actually create these benefits? The answer lies in some fascinating mechanisms. Let's take a closer look at the science. So for this video, I'll be highlighting 5 key mechanisms through which coffee may support long-term health. And they are fat oxidation, improved lung function, glucose balancing effects, reduced inflammation, and increased physical activity. Together, these mechanisms helps the body function more efficiently and plays an important role in preventing many major diseases. It is very interesting to know that caffeine is actually related to a drug used for asthma called theophylline. That means coffee can act like a mild bronchodilator, helping to open up your airways and reduce fatigue in your breathing muscles. A review of a clinical trial shown that asthma patients who drank coffee had a small but real improvements in lung capacity and airflow for few hours. And in large study of over 10,000 people, coffee drinkers, especially non-smokers or people who had quit smoking for a long time, had better lung function overall. But here is the catch. Smoking often goes hand in hand with coffee drinking, and that can completely mask the benefits. So, while coffee can give your lungs a little boost, the effect is only noticeable if you are not a smoker. Let's talk about glucose balancing effects. Some studies suggest that coffee, especially caffeinated coffee, can help your body handle sugar better. So, in a 16-week trial with overweight men who had high fasting glucose, those who drank caffeinated coffee saw a drop in their 2-hour glucose levels and overall blood sugar response. They also had a smaller waist circumference, something not seen in the decaf or no coffee groups. Researchers think that regular coffee might support long-term liver and insulin-producing beta cell health, which could explain why habitual coffee drinkers have lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. If you want to burn body fat, or if you are someone who loves exercising, you really want to know this. Having coffee before your workout doesn't just give you energy, it can actually help your body burn more fat. Now, let's talk about numbers. A meta analysis of 19 studies found that pre exercise caffeine increased fat oxidation by about zero point 0.4 grams per minute compared to placebo. That might not sound like much, but over 60-minute workout, that's an extra 24 grams of fat used for fuel. Another review confirmed the effect works whether you are eaten or you are fasting. So caffeine makes your body more efficient at using fat as energy during aerobic exercise. Inflammation. Coffee doesn't just wake you up, it might also calm your body's inflammation. Studies of over 1,700 adults found that regular coffee drinkers had lower levels of key inflammatory markers, including molecules involved in immune response and cell growth. Another study of nearly 1,400 people showed lower levels of C reactive protein or CRP, a marker linked to inflammation and risk of diabetes. In other words, your daily cup of coffee could help keep your body's immune system balanced and reduce low level inflammation that contributes to chronic diseases. Next is increased physical activity. Caffeinated coffee has been shown to boost daily physical activity. In one randomized trial, people who drank coffee walked about 1,000 more steps per day compared to when they didn't. Even such a modest increase can have a big impact. Older adults who averaged 4,000 steps daily had a 41% lower risk of death compared to those who took only 2,700 steps. More movement also helps reduce body weight, lower the risk of diabetes, and protect against cardiovascular diseases. Beyond that, regular physical activity reduces the risk of frailty, a condition of weakness and vulnerability that makes older adults more prone to falls and serious health issues. Interestingly, studies shown that drinking coffee itself is linked to lower risk of frailty in older adults. Let's talk about risks. However, some important considerations remain. For pregnant women, coffee consumption should be either avoided or should not exceed about 200 mg, roughly 2 cups. Also, excessive caffeinated coffee intake may cause anxiety or sleep disturbance in sensitive individuals. So, these people with certain conditions should avoid coffee as well. Let's address some historical concerns here. Despite decades of worry, coffee consumption is not linked to increased risk of cancer, hypertension, or heart arrhythmia anymore. These fears have been largely debunked by modern research. A very important note. As per this research, how you prepare your coffee really matters. For the best results, you should have black coffee. No sugar, no cream, no add-ins. Both caffeinated and decaf option delivers almost the same positive effects. And of course, moderation is key here. Aim for 3 to 5 cups a day, depending on the individual, no more than that. Also, keep in mind that smoking can actually reduce or cancel out coffee's health benefits. Look, most of us who drink coffee are little addicted somewhere, and that includes me as well. I decided to not giving it up. Instead, I switched from my cappuccino to black coffee. For me, that's a smarter move than quitting altogether. Now that I know the benefits, the goal is simple. Make coffee work for the body, not against it. Think about it. Statistics says over 2 billion people consumes coffee every single day. And how many end up getting its benefits? Not many of them really. So, if giving up coffee feels impossible, try switching your drink. Go simpler. Skip the sugar and cream. That way, you're getting closer to 100% of the benefits. Remember, when it's done right, a daily coffee habit isn't just a pleasure. It might be quietly protecting your health. So, do enjoy your black coffee. Just a quick note here. This is a research based content, not a medical advice. So, talk to a healthcare professional for guidance that fits you better. If you found this helpful and want more research based info that makes life simpler, please consider subscribing. Your support helps me dive deeper into the studies and bring you even better content. I will be back soon with fresh insights from the latest research. Until then, take care and enjoy your coffee.